Okay, getting into trimming the boot. Now, this boot pattern, this arrangement of Austin Healey boot, trunk compartment, whatever you want to call it, is the same for all of the 4-seat or 2+2 model Healeys. So early BN4s that debuted in 56, the 2+2 BN4, the BT7s, the BJ7s, and the BJ8s all had the same boot compartment. And most of them, except for the early Longbridge BN4s, had it color-coded to the same color as the interior, but everything after that, so 59 on, was black, no matter what the interior color was. So it's all black Armacord. So first thing to do when you're trimming one of these, this is a nicely fresh restored car, fresh paint and gas tank and all that. They've done their own, this wiring is not exactly correct or anything like original. Obviously it's newer wires and stuff. It should be all the cloth woven stuff. It would have been black cloth woven battery cables with the lead Lucas helmet terminals on them. But anyway, they've modernized it a bit. But yeah, you've got this wood block, which I've got to remove. It's normally, I think, 3 bolts across, not 2, but that's easily removed. You can actually reach in from the wheel side of the rear fender to access the bolts. You can just reach back here and grab them. You can feel them. Really easy. So you got a wood block there for the battery to rest against. So you can see I've already taken the 12-volt battery out of here, so that's clear. And then you've got a wood block right here and another wood block right here. And that's these 2 guys here. And they are for the spare wheel to rest against. So yeah, and then that is for, there's like a bar that goes down across the spare wheel, which sits here and holds it down with a leather strap. So the first piece to go in always on when you're retrimming one of these boots is this corner here. You can see I've already installed it. So, and it comes pre-cut, ready to fit that shape with the direction of the grain correctly going up and down there on that piece. So that piece has just been put in, and I always use the contact cement through a small spray gun. I'll show you my little spray gun over here. Just one of these guys is fine, cheap, easy. Any hardware store should have them. And I spray it at about 60 to 80 PSI sort of thing is good. And this is the spray grade contact cement. That is the industry standard. Here, I'll show you just right here. This stuff. This is what we all use. It's industry standard contact adhesive. Any professional upholstery shop should be using this stuff. So yeah, really great stuff. And it just gets stronger with age, and it's not affected by heat or humidity. It works great. So with that piece in, I can continue on. I've got all my pieces here laid out on the floor ready for me. So, and they are, here's the side pieces, the floor piece for the side that kind of goes under like this. Side piece is self-explanatory, same thing with here. And you can see the cutouts for some of the battery trays and that. And then this is, we've got, this piece goes in the very back, up underneath where the boot lid opening is. You've got this piece, which is gonna go on the front wall, all there sort of thing. So it's, those are the, I've pre-marked the holes on, whenever you buy a boot kit from Right Way Heritage Trimming, we always pre-mark the holes that are for these spare wheel blocks, so they're easy to locate. Same thing with, this is the piece that goes up on the wall here. Normally, this cable would be coming through the wall there. There's supposed to be a hole in the wall, but they got new metal there and no hole is there, so that's why they've put these extra locator things. So, but normally there's a hole and it's marked for where it goes, and then you've got a cardboard piece that screws to this edge and the wall here to cover the fuel thing, fuel spout. So show you all this stuff as we go in, but basically I'm going to carry on. I can do the floor pieces and the side pieces. All of the other pieces overlap this first piece that goes in. And same thing with over here. I can put in that piece first, and then the side piece overlaps and the floor piece can go in. It's all pretty self-explanatory. And then, so I'm gonna start putting them in one at a time and show you my progress. Okay, so second piece to go in, I've got the partition wall there installed, and you can see it just goes over onto the inner side there, and it'll be overlapped by the side piece, which I'm just on the right side. I find it with these side pieces, it's easier to work them into position because there's lots of stuff you're trying to go over and around and get tucked into corners there. And if it was all glued, it would be impossible to get it all to fit right. So I find it easiest to fit it dry and then just peel it back to like big areas. I'll glue that now and stick it up, and then peel back some areas here and get them stuck down. It's not crucial that the whole thing is evenly glued in for this side, for these side pieces, at least especially this one that goes over all the battery area. The battery is going to cover that anyway, so as long as it's, you know, firmly glued all around the edges, you got good area that are stuck down, it's not going to go anywhere. And so yeah, the rest of these you can glue them thoroughly everywhere because they're easy to pop in place. There's nothing to go around. But this one, I like to fit it dry like this. So one thing, now obviously this has been fit. It has a nice bound edge that goes right into the corner there. And you can see the holes for mounting that wood block. I need to poke those through as I glue it down. They are marked, but this car being non-original hole arrangement, because it should be, yeah, different arrangement there. So I'm gonna have to poke those through with an awl as I stick it down, just to make sure that they're located. And then I can use a little tapered reamer to ream out the holes afterwards. Okay, so now I've got the side piece in there. You can see I've got the holes poked through for their wood block, and the floor piece is also put in place. And the floor piece goes in after the side piece. And you can see it's got the binding that finishes off as it overlaps that side piece. So now I'm going to move to the other side and put its side piece and floor piece in. And again, I got to make the holes for the wooden block on this side, which that's what they've done. They've just copied the other side. It should actually be 3 going across here. Sorry to flash the camera with the light there. But yeah, so I'm going to glue up and put in this side piece, so it's ready to go there. And you can see it, you know, it's cut to fit. It's got a nice bound edge. Oh, notice the bound edge up there? I almost went in the wrong order. So the next piece actually is this piece, and then I'll do the sides. This piece is the main back wall area here. So, and it has a nice bound edge around the wheel arch there, but it's raw just in that upper corner, which this one overlaps. So just always look where the binding is. The binding always overlaps the raw edge. Okay, so we got the side pieces in on this side. I did this one first, making sure it lines up here so it's going over the frame member centered nicely, and then getting that corner lined up there. So yep, I glue the whole thing in and then do the floor piece, and it just goes in like that. And there's a little cutout for it to go around the frame here and notch over, and it's pre-cut like that, so it just comes up onto that shelf. And then now I just put in this rear piece that just, I cut little slices to go around the frame members here, and it just tucks up under here and covers the wiring, so that's all hidden and protected. And this piece I usually just leave. I don't glue it because, like I say, it's going up over top of all the wiring here, so if you ever need to access that wiring, it's easy to pull this out. It's cut nice and tight with slots, so it does just kind of slot in there and keeps its shape. It's not going anywhere, so it doesn't really need glue. Now, last but not least, is putting in the main gas tank cover. It's one piece there. It just sets in over top, no glue or anything like that, so you can always access all of this if you need to take the tank out or access the wiring or the sender unit. And then, of course, once that's in, I'll be putting in the little cardboard cover that covers over the filler neck there. And as you can see, I've already installed one of the tire blocks. I've just now got to locate the holes and install the other tire block there. And yeah, and then we can put everything back together. Oh, I've still got to put the battery in there because it's the bolts they had in there to hold the battery wood block that they've made are now too short. They weren't long enough to clear the thickness of the armacord. So I'm going to have to get some slightly longer bolts to put that back together. But anyway, so we'll get the main gas tank cover in and those tire blocks, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, and there we are. We've got the main gas tank cover in. It just sets on top, like I was saying. We've got both of the spare wheel blocks installed now, and the cover for the filler spout. So now I've just got to, oh, and the other thing is, so like I was saying, there's like a bar that comes across, the spare wheel goes in this corner here and wedges between those two blocks, and you've got a bar coming across here that hooks into that little bracket there, as you can see, and it has a loop on the other end as it overhangs the wheel, and then you've got a strap here, a belt strap that holds it down so you can cinch it down to the floor. So there will be a little loop there, I forget what it's called, a chrome little loop there that holds the leather strap to the floor. I've just got to locate those holes. It's into the trunk floor. Okay, and here we are all back together. We've got the main boot mat in place. We've got the spare wheel blocks in place. The batteries back in place with the cardboard or hardboard cover covering the filler spout. It's just got a little panhead, number 6 panhead screws there to hold it in place. Obviously this is a non-original battery, as I said, with the non-original helmets. Those would be those little lead Lucas engraved helmets originally with black woven cable. But this is, you know, modernized setup and good and sturdy and safe. There's your shut-off switch there, and yeah, normally also the batteries in originally had a little vinyl cover sort of thing. It was like heat welded on the corners, and it would just cover over the terminals to protect them. So no piece of metal is gonna fall on there. So it's a great idea. So I'm gonna start making those eventually one day once I get a heat welding machine. Can do them properly. Yeah, and then of course there's the spare wheel leather strap. I have yet to put there's a footman's loop that just screws into the floor there. It just goes into the boot floor. Those holes have been eliminated because it's new metal there for the boot floor, so I've just got to locate it and install it. It'll be a lot easier to figure that out once I have the spare wheel in and I can see where it needs to go and get some, or otherwise get some dimensions from another car. But yeah, it's just a pair of screws with that little chrome footman's loop, and then the leather strap goes through it, and there's a bar that goes over, it hooks into that little bracket right there. You can see the little hole in it, and goes across the spare wheel with a little hoop on the end that the leather strap goes in and tightens it down. So other than that, that is all finished and looking good. So that is, like I say, the standard black Armacord boot trim arrangement that you saw on all of the 4-cylinder Healeys. Unless it was a very early BN4, then this would be color coded. But that was only, 56, 57 that color coding went on. So there you go.